Okay, what we're looking at here is my Weed Whacker bike number 2, and this one is much refined than my first one I built. I've had a lot of thoughts on that, and I've made some improvements on it, and so I'm just going to go over some quick things here on mounting an engine, and ends up looking pretty cool. This is a Troy-built 32cc engine, and this particular motor has the side mount on it. There's 4 1032 screws that go through the casting that held the plastic housing on and the metal brackets, etc. I use that to mount it. So it will start from the mounting location here. This here is a 2" by 3/16 aluminum angle, as you can see here, and I spotted 3 holes to mount it to the rear fork, which I hope you can see there. Anyways, there was a reflector bracket down there, and where this hole is, there's a little bridge that runs through here. There was a reflector bracket. I used that as the 3rd hole, one here, and that secures the angle down. And then that goes across over to this side. It sticks out the appropriate amount, and I put a utility hinge right here, so you can see that. There you go, simple utility hinge, 3 screws, 1032 flathead screws, Phillips drive, and those lock that in there. I used thread lock on everything because there's a high frequency goes through this high vibration. The second piece goes, the second side of the hinge goes on just a 1/4 inch adapter plates, triangular shaped, as you can see from the other side. Then I took another piece at same angle, I think that's 3/16 by 2, and I cut it and kind of fashioned it cool, and I put the 4 holes here and bolting into this joining plate here. See if I can get that from underneath. Not sure you can see that, but that's what it is, and it's just a 1/4 inch steel plate. So then that bracket, this angle goes back. As you can see here, I'll show you from this location. It actually works good. There's this plate. It's a 3/16 aluminum plate right over here, and it runs across the angle, maybe 8 inches, no, probably 10 inches. And on that plate, it comes up. The one I just showed you, it comes up here, and it's just perpendicular to it, so it bolts right in. And there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws in the angle that bolt into it. And then this piece right here is the vertical structure that holds it in. As you can see, there's 1032 screws. I used coupling nuts and to extend this out, and then I made this is a piece of wood, and this is a 2" I think PVC that I cut out as a guard, and I epoxied that into a hole that I cut, and so that's a fillet of epoxy. I painted it, looks nice. And this is a bike peg here, standard bike peg, and that bike peg is has an adapter plate, or it's actually an adapter, T-shaped adapter that attaches to the flywheel. You might have to have that made by a machine shop. And then down here I have the spring that holds the tension to this location here, which is a screw eye right there that holds the tension on it. And over here I have a similar screw eye that's here, goes through, and this is one simple clasp to pull the engine up when you want to ride the bike. It's very simple. And then you just disconnect the chain, and probably want to put a rubber band or something to hold that in place when you're riding. Okay, and here you can see the view of the engine and the carburation system here. It's a choke, and I started on choke, and I just turned it off in a few minutes. Over here I just added the reflector, and so it got some rear protection there. And then this is the throttle compensator. Throttle compensator I put on here, I designed it and built it because, as you'll see here, look at the stroke on the throttle cable, how long it is. It's about 1.5 inches. And look at the stroke on the throttle for the carburation butterfly. It's about half that. And so if I were to lock the throttle cable into the carburetor, and an operator of this bike was moving it, he might pull the throttle and just bring it all the way and squeeze it all the way and break the throttle in the engine, or make the throttle cable slip or something like that. So I just basically made that throttle cable compensator, and you might want to just look at that action. It's basically a spring in between there that's got a larger loop, and then there's the other spring on top, the longer one. That one is just to return the throttle all the way back to in a fairly firm manner. So this is just another view of the bracket here, and I had to slit this here. I note this, slit this here so the brake cable could go through there. Maybe you can see that there. The brake cable, here's a better shot. The brake cable comes through and then goes through. So I had to make accommodation for that, and it didn't weaken it very much. And here's another view of that, if you can see that. And then this is the magneto cover. I had to fashion a piece of wood in here and epoxy in there so I could make it work, and drilled some holes in this bracket. So it covers it. It looks nice. And I took the Troy-Bilt sticker off of the Weed Whacker and I put it right here just to kind of dress it up a little bit, so it looks kind of cool. And that's my second generation Weed Whacker. And I tested it, works really great, runs nice, and looks cool too. So anyways, there it is, the technique I used to put that in there. Thanks for viewing. Bye bye.